Yo guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the Caged In podcast. This week, The Cotton Club 1984. This be obviously our 4th run-in with the main man, Nicolas Cage. This is his 2nd time round being directed by his uncle, Francis Ford Coppola. For those of you who don't know, Nicolas Cage's real name is Nicolas Coppola. Obviously. It's a weird family tree, check it out. Jason Schwartzman's in there, obviously Sofia Coppola, Roman Coppola. Yeah, it's really interesting. You can check it out on Wikipedia and stuff like that. Before we get into the proceeds of things, I just want to talk about the social media. Share with your friends, guys. It's on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Caged In Pod, or Facebook, the Caged In Podcast. Quest into Insanity, I believe it is. And another thing is the Nicolas Cage DVD amnesty that I'm doing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure plenty of you have got any old dusty unwanted DVDs on your bookshelf or DVD shelves or whatever you want to call it. Like, you might have a CD wallet that you've got all your DVDs in, who knows. But yeah, any Nicolas Cage ones you got that you don't want anymore or you're happy to lend out in aid of this podcast, tomorrow, the 21st of March, I'm going to be uploading a photo of stuff I need, stuff I've got. So if you guys could have a look through that and hit me up, obviously, on all those, on the social media, or email me with the DVD you've got and any information on how we could hook up and get that sorted. That's cagedinpod@gmail.com. So yeah, this week we're going to delve in deeper. This is a 2-hour long film, guys. I'm not, as I said, I'm not messing about. I've posted on social media photos of the notes I take. I take shitloads of notes. As I think I said in the last podcast, this isn't just a podcast of me watching Nicolas Cage films for fun. This is trying to see if this thing sends me insane, if obviously focusing all my attention on one actor and their whole career, will it affect me in any way as much as seeing the progression, the evolution, maybe de-evolution of an actor. See if there's a point where he loses his shit or I lose my shit. We just don't know. Yeah, so let's roll the theme music, and after that we'll get into the ridiculous nature of Nicolas Cage. Feels like I've been awake for days, watching films starring Nicolas Cage. Could be shit or it could be fun. Valley Girl, Face Off, An Army of One, Deadful Cornell, Lord of War, The Wicker Man, Trespass, and so many more. Know how it starts, I don't know how it ends. The first 10 are solo, then it's me and some friends. No distractions, no expectations. Over the weeks, hear my frustrations. I guess the podcast is about to begin. I'm your host, Petros, and I'm caged in.
I couldn't think of a more horrible job if I wanted to. And you have to do it.
Hello and welcome, guys. For those of you who haven't listened before, this is a podcast in which I, Petros, will watch every single Nicolas Cage film from start to finish. We started a week or so ago with Valley Girl. We're now on to the 4th film, which is the 1984 The Cotton Club. This film stars Richard Gere, Diane Lane, Bob Hoskins, James Remmer, and obviously Nicolas Cage. This is directed by Francis Ford Coppola. From the back of the DVD case, I've seen that it was nominated for Golden Globes, Oscars, and won a BAFTA. So I'm looking forward to it. I have a few rules in place. Obviously, I slightly broke it by reading the back of the DVD case, but it's no expectations. So if I don't know anything about the film, I'm not going to look it up online, I'm not going to look at any reviews, I'm not going to look at any IMDb scores, no Rotten Tomatoes, no Metacritic, nothing. And the other one is no distractions. No phones, no iPads. I'm even going to ignore the phone if it rings. I'm going to ignore my front door if anyone knocks. yeah, I'm just going to give myself fully to the film, take notes, and rattle on. With these first 10, obviously it's going to be just me. And then after that, I'm going to get in some guests. I'm going to get people from other podcasts to come in, watch the film with me. These first 10 are a punishment for taking on this task. This 70 plus film task of watching them all. I was going to do this weekly. As said in the last one, I've decided not to do that. Obviously, for logistical reasons, when the guests come on, it might then become weekly, because trying to arrange people each week is pretty easier than trying to bombard my life every day trying to get people around to watch the films. But yeah, keeping that in mind, for now, those first 10 is just me. I've got a new little thing that I want to bring in, which is cinema snacks. So this week during the Cotton Club, I just popped myself some popcorn. I've gone for a little pre-mix sweet and salty flavour, helped me get through the film. I'm giving myself a little treat, guys. I feel like I deserve it for obviously all the hard work I'm putting in here. As I said in the pre-intro thing, this is a 2-hour long film. So far we've probably done about 5 hours or so. And there's so many more hours to come. So enough of this. I'm going to kick back, feet up, phone off, and get raging with Cage. Right, guys, before we get into this, I've got to admit that I had a mid-film break, but that's only because the DVD I bought off of eBay fucking crashed on me. Like, there's no scene selection on this DVD. I had to start the film again, fast forward to the point where I was at. Turns out it happened again, so I'm going to try and find it online and watch it the rest there. But yeah, I thought I'd be honest and admit that I checked my phone, so not going well so far. 4 movies in and I've broken my own rules. Fuck's sake. Technical glitches over, and the Cotton Club has now been watched. So yeah, got to the end of that one. That's number 4, checked off the list. Rundown of the film. So the film opens, it's 1928 Harlem, and we're at the Bournville Club, where we're introduced to Dutch, who is a mob boss sitting around with his cronies, goons, chatting, and there's a white trumpet player, which for this era, like, is very odd, and he's played by Richard Gere, who you find out his character's name is Dixie Dwyer, who's a charismatic, charming, just likeable character, really. Yeah, he's called over because Dutch is really impressed with his trumpet playing, and you see his charismatic nature, like when he calls over a group of girls, calls over Vera, played by Diane Lane, who obviously throughout the film becomes a very key character. And in this exchange, a rival gang is intercut with earlier goings on. A rival gang throw in a stick of dynamite, to which Dixie saves Dutch's life, which weirdly indebts Dixie into becoming a employee to Dutch, in that gung-ho he wants to. Dixie is called up from playing trumpet at the Bournville Club the next night and taken to a party where he's offered $150 to play trumpet and piano. And as soon as he gets there, Vince is there. He said he's gone to Dutch and asked for a job. Also at the party, we have Diane Lane's character, Vera, who is called in by Dutch as well to sing at the party. and we quickly realise that Dutch has an infatuation with her. And the reason for this party is Bob Hoskins' character Oni has called together Dutch and the leader of a rival gang to squash the beef. It's the gang who obviously threw dynamite at him. But yeah, it doesn't go to plan as Dutch ends up stabbing the guy with a carving knife. It's fucking brutal. It's blood dripping from a chandelier. It's nuts. So as things progress in the film, like there's a lot of filler scenes and stuff like that, but Dixie ends up working for Dutch in the way of being a kind of minder for Vera, who obviously he's taken a liking to, and his job pretty much consists of taking her out. So he just has to look after her, he has to drive around. It's kind of his runner, he gets his laundry, kind of treats him a bit like shit. There's like a subplot to this as well, with a character called Sandman Williams and his brother Clay, who are tap dancers. This is kind of where the Cotton Club starts to come into play, because early on in the film we see those guys have an audition for the Cotton Club, which they get, and one of the next key scenes we see is kind of the characters coming together in that. Dixie Dwyer and his brother Vince take their mum to the Cotton Club. We have the Williams brothers performing at the Cotton Club. We have Dutch come in. We have Oni, who owns the place, who Vince and Dixie's mum remembers, says he puts on a lot of stuff on Broadway. So yeah, it's kind of got like a proto like Goodfellas vibe to the film. It's got that like Godfather, but one of the things I kept thinking was Bugsy Malone. It just reminds me of like an adult Bugsy Malone. There's tap dancing, there's kind of borderline songs in the film in the way of like musical numbers and stuff like that. But yeah, going on with the plot, with the Sandman Williams character, we have this relationship that he is infatuated by one of the singers at the Cotton Club, and he pursues her in the scene I mentioned a second ago, and the next day he turns up to her church because she says, "Come meet me at the church." He just pulls her out, he says, let's get married. It's you gotta get up to the guy for his moxie, really. But yeah, he ends up taking her to this place called the Hoofers Club, which has one of the best tap dance sequences. I haven't seen a lot of tap dancing sequences, but this is the best maybe dance sequence I've ever seen. It was great. Like, I had a lot of fun watching this film. Like, it reminded me of a lot of stuff, but a lot of it in good ways. Like, at this point of the film, like, I'm checking my notes, I wrote down a few times, not a lot of Cage. We've had this problem before also with a Francis Ford Coppola directed film. Maybe saying, there's my nephew. He needs to chill the fuck out a little bit. Not going to give him a lot of screen time. But that might change later on in the film. Don't want to give it away just yet. Yeah, so there's this dance sequence at Hoofers Club. As I said, it's great. And then after that, we next have a scene where Dixie takes Vera out under the instruction of Dutch. Really, not weird scene, but like, you see this tension between the two, like they're being followed by one of Dutch's goons, and you can see Dixie's frustrations that he doesn't want to work for Dutch, and it kind of bubbles up, and they have a bit of a to-do, kind of like a slapping match in the middle of the dance floor, dancing really rough, throwing each other about. But then the next scene, that all changes, because they go to Dixie's, and the sexual tension is at an all-time high. And then they kiss. They kiss in silhouette. They kiss in moody lighting. They kiss with the lighting of the sun coming through crocheted curtains. They're going for it, guys. They're loving it. It's happened. It's finally happened. I know in my thing it doesn't sound like a long time, but a long time has passed in the film. They finally, the tension is broken. After this, Dixie has his way out of working for Dutch. In the way of Orny asks him to be the man on the coast, which means taking care of the Hollywood, California side of the business, which I assume is like the racketing business and any business, legitimate or otherwise, that Orny has in that area. Obviously this is set in New York, so yeah, but the way of doing that is Dixie is offered to become an actor in a film called The Mob Boss, which brings about a really funny scene of producers, which I see as Francis Ford Coppola's kind of dig at the film industry, like a real light-hearted, fun moment in the middle of the film. We then have the Williams brothers, Sandman and Clay, having a falling out over Sandman's ambitions to just always push his dancing and stuff like that, ask for a solo at the Cotton Club, to which Clay isn't happy about, and they decide to part ways. He's like, if you're solo on the stage, you're solo in life, like, you can forget it, basically. It's from this point on that the man of the hour, the man we've been waiting for, ridiculous Nicolas Cage, comes into play. We have a scene where Dixie gets in a car with Vince, to which he says he has just a graze, which we can see, Dixie can see, is a flesh wound, like a gun wound. It turns out that he's been warring under the order of Dutch against the black mob, and then we're met with a montage sequence of sorts of Vince and his kind of sub-gang goons shooting up the Bourneville Club and the proprietors. One of the guys who's involved in that is Lawrence Fishburne's character, Bumpy, who is a member of the black mob. And yeah, the next scene involves the club and the black mob meeting up with a guy, discussing how they could go all-out war, but they are just not ready for it. It was around this point in the film, like, I kind of slightly lost interest a bit, kind of had one of those weird, like, newspaper flashing up on the screen, lots of stuff happening, montages, and then the next thing you know, we've jumped ahead 2 years. Dixie's been in Hollywood making films, and then all of a sudden it's 1930 in Broadway, and Vera now owns her own club, which the lady of Sandman's affection is a singer, and because of the racial tension at the time that this is set, he's not even allowed to go see her perform. And yeah, within the club, Dutch is called away because our main man Nicolas Cage. Look, I have to take a second here, guys, because I thought it was maybe mid-90s Cage where he becomes a fucking maniac. Like, I know the 11th film on the list, we've got Vampire's Kiss, Witch of Sin, and he's fucking batshit crazy. No, he's always been batshit crazy, guys. Sorry to ruin it for you, but yeah, there's a glint in his eye. There's something crazy about the guy. Like, his performance in this is, I'm not going to say good, like, it is, like, it gives it, but, like, I don't know, I'm finding it hard now to kind of see him as his characters. I know that's probably bad, I know it might change, but I'm looking at so much by Nicolas Cage. Like, I find myself, when I'm not watching the films, kind of watching interviews and stuff like that, and I'm finding it hard to differentiate between the two, I must admit, guys. It's definitely around this point, though, that the film becomes very Vince Nick Cage centric, which I've been waiting for, I must admit, throughout the film. His kind of subplot that happens is, yeah, as I mentioned, he comes around to the Vera's Club, kind of throwing his weight about to Dutch, kind of saying, like, I want more money, I want this, I want that. Dutch doesn't take it too well. He has one of his, like, head goons, Saul, take out Vince's right-hand man. And Vince ain't gonna let that slide. Vince stages a drive-by, like, I'm not talking, like, South Central, I'm talking sloppy, guys, takes out kids, newspapers flash up on the screen, saying baby killers wanted. It's obviously got Slick Rick, Nick Cage's face up on the front of the cover. Vince then kidnaps Oni's right-hand man, Frenchie, and Dixie's asked if he knows anything about it by Oni, and Dixie's sent in to retrieve Frenchie with the ransom money, which you get like a tender moment where Dixie says to Vince, get out as soon as you can, because it's not going to end good for you. Oni and Frenchie are then reunited, which brought me to one of my favourite scenes of the film, of Frenchie smashing Oni's watch because he heard that the ransom money was $500, and then on hearing that it was $50,000, presents him with a brand new watch, which I thought was a real funny moment in the film. The next scene we have is, sadly, the demise of our main man, Nick Cage. He's gunned down in a phone box in true ganglang fashion. Just, yeah, he's on the phone to Oni at the time. His guys are sent in. Tommy guns at the ready. Bang, gone. It's pretty similar to the Godfather scene at the toll booth. Yeah, just gunned down, and that's all we have for Cage for the rest of the film.
Folks, now here's a story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a red-hot hoochie coocher. She was the roughest, toughest rail, but Minnie had a heart as big as a hay whale. Howdy, howdy, ho. Howdy, howdy, ho. Hidey, hidey, hi. Hidey, hidey, hi. Heedy, heedy, hee. Heedy, heedy, hee. Howdy, howdy, ho. Howdy, howdy, ho. Now she messed around with a bloke named Smokey. She loved him though he was cocky. He took her down to Chinatown. He showed her how to kick the gong around. Showed her how to kick the gong around. Howdy ho.
It's 1932 in the Cotton Club, and Dixie's back from Hollywood. He's big shit. He's getting shown to a table, and this scene is kind of the finale scene where everything of the film comes together. We have Orny having a chat with the Italian mob. We have Dutch there. We have Vera there. We have Sandman performing on stage. It's really where it all comes together. There's a plan to whack Dutch, and it kind of culminates in a argument between Vera and Dutch, where she tells him he's got as much style as a bowl of turnips, and it eventually turns into a scuffle between him and Dixie, where Dutch pulls a gun on him, and out of nowhere Sandman with a fly-in like Van Damme kick boots the gun out of his hand out the window, and that's it. Dutch and his goons hoisted out of the club, and then we see a scene of Dutch and his men pissed, so pissed off, arguing and saying how they're going to get their own back and stuff like that in a local bar. And that's when shit gets real, because Hector Salamanca from Breaking Bad, you know, the old guy in the wheelchair, check it out, he comes in, smokes every last one of the fools, fucking bing bang bong, dead. Yeah, there's the classic like tablecloth pulling down when Dutch gets killed. It's great, and then to signify he's dead, his hand just flops down on his side. This brings me to the final scene of the film, in which I'd say it's more like reminiscent of something out of a musical, because it kind of has the Cotton Club with people dancing and dressed as people work at a train station, intercut with the train station, where it seems every character is having their different way out. So you have Orny getting arrested, you have Dixie heading on his way back to Hollywood, in which he had asked Vera to go with him. She had declined and said maybe we'll see each other someday. And you have people dancing in the train station. It's like these two scenes are coming together. Yeah, as I said, it's reminiscent of something out of a musical, something out of Grease or something like that. And we have Sandman getting married, and as Dixie heads for the train, Vera's there waiting for him with all her bags packed. So she's decided that's it, she's going to Hollywood with him. The train pulls away, and that's the end of the film. Right, when it comes to my opinion on this film, I enjoyed it. Obviously, I had a midway hiccup with a fucking DVD crashed on me. But apart from that, yeah, it was highly enjoyable. Not 100% original, but then again, I haven't seen this in context when it came out, so it was obviously reminiscent of a lot of stuff that I've seen that's since come out and stuff like that. Obviously, I said Bugsy Malone's kind of got elements of The Godfather. Kind of feels like a lesser work from Francis Ford Coppola. But now to get on to the main attraction, Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage in this film, like Rumblefish, not a lot of him. So I don't know. I don't feel like this is feel like the glory days from what I know of Nicolas Cage. We're going to get that in the 90s. I'm finding this whole project quite hard on my own. Just to talk for so long is hard. So I'm very much looking forward to the 11th episode, where I'm going to start to have guests, and yeah, things might change up a little. Like, not too much. But I guess it's now a good time to get on to Cage quotes. Free clips, no context, just pure unadulterated Cage. Right, let's go in with the first one.
What the hell is this?
Bugle boy, meet Jesse James.
What the hell are you doing?
I got a job. I went up to the Dutchman. I said, hey, I am Dixie Dwyer's brother. He saved your ass. You saved my ass.
You just walk up to the Dutchman and ask him for a job.
Yeah, I went up to him. I said, I'm big here.
What do you have to do with this?
I'm a Vinny.
And two.
All right, so what do you say, wise guy?
I want to talk money, Dutch. We get shot up. No one seems to give a shit.
That's part of the game. All right, How much you need?
I'm talking real money, Dutch. Me and Eddie, we delivered half of Harlem to you, for Christ's sake. Now I want part of the numbers percentage, and I want a net
Number?
picture.
Yeah, you out of your head, you crazy Mick. What's the matter with you? Just because you can handle a gun, you think you're a boss? You're nuts. You know that? You're a fucking nut. There's a million guys out there willing to pull the trigger for me for free. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you a raise. A raise? 100 a week. And 50 for Pocky there. Is that fair?
Fair? You can take your 100 and you can shove it up your ass!
And free.
Benny!
Jesus Christ almighty, Vincent. You have to conquer the world? You got an arsenal here.
You got the money?
Yeah.
Ah! Check Frenchie!
I feel like these clips give a true representation of how mad he is, even at this early stage in his career. I'm looking forward to what we've got coming up next, guys. Next week, let me check my notes. What film we got coming up next? Might not be next week. It might be. It's actually my birthday on the 22nd of March, so I might not be recording another one this week. Next week we have Birdie, also from 1984. Looking forward to that one. I'm really looking forward to number 11, because it means I can actually do this with other people and actually have a conversation about it, as opposed to me sat in the dark, going out of my mind, just talking about Nicolas Cage, even though I imagine that's part of what I set out to do, see if this does send me loopy-loo, and I kind of feel like it is slightly, it's kind of taking over my life. I'm checking Reddit groups, I'm reading, watching loads of interviews on YouTube with Nicolas Cage, trying to keep them in chronological order, so only watching stuff really from the early 80s at the moment. So yeah, I can get an idea of context. I might do a few special episodes kind of talking about just biographising the guy, doing a biog on the guy, just seeing what the fuck he's about. In some of the interviews I've seen, he seems pretty nuts. Really good one to check out is, I saw it before I started this project, it's like a 1992, I think, Terry Wogan interview. It's fucking batshit crazy, guys. Definitely check that one out. As the way of keeping up to date with the podcast, if you could subscribe, rate and review on iTunes, that would be great. You'll be able to find it, just type in the Caged In podcast on iTunes or the app on your phone or iPad or whatever. Also on Acast, people who don't have iPhones, stuff like that, that's the Caged In pod. Again, rate and review, even if you've listened to the episodes on SoundCloud before I got them up on there, please just mark as played. I imagine that goes to the data to those guys and kind of can pitch my podcast to where it needs to be. I'd like to kind of maybe get on some of the charts, like Blue Sky Thinking here, just try and get it out there as much as possible, guys. I don't know, this could be shit, I could be deluded, but I don't know, I feel like it's going to be a fun journey. Again, share on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, guys. They're all at the Caged In pod. As I said, next episode, Birdie. Really looking forward to that. I'll just give you a rundown of where we're going after that. So we'll have episode 5, Birdie. Episode 6, The Boy in Blue. Episode 7, Peggy Sue Got Married. Episode 8, Raising Arizona. Episode 9, Thunderstruck. Thunderstruck. That's an AC/DC song. And number 10, Never on a Tuesday. That's where I'm going to get up to solo. And then number 11 will be Vampire's Kiss, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'm yet to arrange a guest, but when I know, you'll know, or I might keep it a secret. I don't know. I'll probably thing it on social media. I'm going to put up today, I recorded half of this last night, half of this morning. It's the 21st of March. I'm going to be putting up a photo of DVDs I need to complete the collection, stuff that I found on eBay but it's way too expensive. So yeah, check that, guys. Obviously, if you want to email as well, it's cagedinpod@gmail.com. I've been Petros. I've been Caged In. You've been Rad. Catch you next time. Bye.